Well, good afternoon, folks. I guess we all had a little bit of a recovery from what transpired a day ago. We're very glad that the perpetrator has been, the killer has been apprehended. Uh, Robinson, last name, right? Okay, folks. Well, look, I'm not getting into anything other than the fact that I think we need to talk about what origin, what perpetrated this whole action against conservatism, what took the life of Charlie Kirk, what almost took the life of Steve Scalise, what almost took the life of Donald Trump. I think we need to go down that path, and I think we need to have a serious conversation about it. Now, I'm going to ask of you folks when you hear my opinions of all this, that you, of course, do the right thing, right, folks? We need you to do the right thing. The right thing is not respond to the Democrats with the same problem they have. Well, the same problem or the same way of solving problems they do, on the i.e. violence. I told you my feelings yesterday, and we cannot go and revenge people in the same way they come after us. Okay? We can't do that. But I do want to get down to something that I learned today when I saw the press conference with the governor of Utah. And oh, by the way, he has a future in the Republican Party. I could tell you that right now. I was very, 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 very impressed with him. Extremely impressed with him, I have to say, folks. He conducted that press conference amazingly, and I think we could all agree that that he has a future in our party. Totally does. But let's get on to something that I've learned with that press conference, right? One of the things I learned about the casings. One of the things I learned about the casings, and a lot of it I don't understand, but there was one casing, ladies and gentlemen. There's a word that's used consistently by the left, consistently on the media, consistently by the Democrats, and that is the word fascist. One of the bullets had the word fascist on it. Now, folks, where do we hear that coming from? The Democrats and the media. They're fully to blame and are fully responsible for what took place yesterday, folks, and the other day, folks. They are fully to blame. They are the ones who, by proxy, I've always said this to you, the Democrats by proxy will use bullets instead of hunting and target shooting, but to use us as their targets by their words. And I ask you, remember what I said yesterday, folks. Remember what I said yesterday. I meant it very sincerely. I mean it today, folks. You got to be very, very careful in how we respond to hate. We got to be very careful how we respond to hate in our country, my dear friends. We got to be very, very careful. Like I said yesterday, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. That comes from Proverbs. And I need you to remember that. There will be a vigil today at the State House at 6:30 p.m. For Charlie Kirk. Unfortunately, I will not be there. I have other plans. But my heart goes out to his family and everybody that will be at this vigil. We have to, ladies and gentlemen, recognize evil. Evil has become the Democrat Party, folks. Evil has become the Democrat Party. Evil has become the media. We cannot. Good morning, good afternoon, Melody Irwin. We cannot, ladies and gentlemen, respond in the same way they do. But please note, when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Were there any bricks thrown through any windows in any towns, in any cities? Were any traffic jam? Was any highway movement of traffic stopped by people going in the middle of the road and stopping traffic, putting people's lives at risk? Were there any professionally made signs, ladies and gentlemen? Good afternoon, Tony. Were there any professionally made signs by a company like Overnight that supported hate or anything that would have been justified coming out of our mouth? But it's not worth it, folks. We're all angry. I feel like the governor of Utah. I was as angry as could be. And then I crashed, and I was very sensitive yesterday. And I'm sorry, but I think we all need to shed a tear when a tear is needed to be shed. Not only was I sad about the remembrance of 9/11, I had to have this hateful left Democrat killing occur and take a life of a young man with a following of many young people. I don't support violence, folks. That is not, I always told you, you listen to my rants, you will listen to me consistently. Our weapon of choice is going to the voting booth and vote. This should open your eyes that you should never, ever give control of the Democrat Party in anything that has its claws in this country. You know damn well there'll be more Americans dead. There will be more legal system not to find guilty, or even put people in jail who think differently, i.e. Tea Party, MAGA, or whatnot. These people will pack the courts, and they would immediately try to impeach Donald Trump. Those are the facts, folks. Now, if you want to waste your money and you want to waste your time, you go right ahead and you vote, because it's very demonic of you to even consider voting for a Democrat right now. Very demonic of you. Knowing all that has transpired, knowing all that is. Good morning, William. You need to wake up, folks. Because actually, my dear friends, and I just posted on my Facebook wall, when you look at the bullet casings, not only should it say fascists, it does say Trump is Hitler. Oh, tone down the rhetoric, right? Threat to democracy. Oh, let's tone down the rhetoric, they tell you. The people who by proxy killed Charlie Kirk. Trump is a Nazi. Tea Party is a Nazi. MAGA is a Nazi. You have them all over social media. You have them all over the nightly news and whatnot. CNN, MSNBC, CNN, MSNBC, I said MSNBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, late night comedy. They're all pushing this narrative of hate, which they hope it falls in the ears and in the head of a person like Robinson. That's right. They hope it falls on him or Cook, who almost killed Donald Trump, or perhaps the one who almost killed a bunch of Republicans on a baseball field, i.e. Steve Scalise. They do this by proxy, folks. Because, oh, no, it did come from me. Oh, yes, it did. We don't win elections by calling our opponents Nazis. Remember what I said to you, folks? I've said this a long time ago, many times, when Donald Trump first won his first election. And people would say, oh, I don't like Donald Trump's tweets. I said, he's going to get elected because of those tweets. Why? Because for years, ladies and gentlemen, for years, my friends, the Democrat Party, before Donald Trump walked into the scene and came down the escalator, has always called us names. always called us names, always going after us, going after Sarah Palin, went after her Down syndrome child and ridiculed her for not having an abortion, and to say she had a birth of this Down syndrome child for her own political expediency. Well, by the way, she had this child before McCain ever asked her to run on the ticket. And too bad she had to run on the ticket with McCain because he was a loser. Now wait. He served the country. I'm all right with it. He was a loser politically. He handed over the election to Obama, who began the destruction of this country. But I've said to you long ago, folks, good morning, good afternoon, Maureen McCarthy and Ruth Sprague. We have a William McCarthy and a Maureen McCarthy. I don't know if you're related, but in either case, we got McCarthys. But long before I said to you, folks, we have a candidate, i.e. Donald Trump, who's fighting back like the Democrats fought against us for years upon years before Donald Trump ever came into the game. And finally, we had a fighter. When Mitt Romney ran against Obama the second term and lost, what did we say? He started going after Obama. His numbers were doing good, and then he tanked it. Why? Because he got weak in the knees. He didn't move forward. He could have won. Believe it or not, Mitt Romney could have won that election, but he got weak and he didn't fight back. We were looking for a fighter. What do we always say? We need a fighter. We need a fighter. We need a fighter. In comes Donald Trump, and you're all complaining because why? He has tweets. Who's got the mean tweets? Did anybody get called a Nazi from the Republican Party? Did anybody say you're a fascist from the Republican Party? Did anybody go out there, stop traffic in the street, throw bricks through windows and whatnot, and cause havoc and cause death, and created a movement called Antifa or the KKK or Black Lives Matter for that matter, who are all violent groups? And you want to point the fingers at Republicans. We use our bullets for target practice. We use our bullets for hunting. And it's not people. But the Democrat Party wants to disarm you, you see, as they have the right to come after you. Now, here's another thing, another takeaway. This is a single bolt action gun. Oh, gee, it wasn't a multiple magazine gun like the Democrats all complain. Oh, wait a minute, Democrats. Where's your gun control screaming now, right? Where's your gun control screaming now? Instead, you're only screaming, I hear from you, and a lot of you getting fired because you show hate when somebody's dead. People getting excited and all that. It's wrong. It's bad behavior. It shows you're an immature person, and it shows a lot of things. If you can't express an opinion like an adult, you're nothing but a petulant, little foolish, hateful, little demonic child. That's what you are. But where? This wasn't a multiple magazine bump action gun. It's like we had the Kennedy assassination all over again with an Italian Caccano rifle. Instead, it was a rifle used by the Nazis. Oh, I guess there was a message sent there too. We didn't pick that up. I did. I picked that up. I picked it up. Used the Nazi weapon because who else calls us Nazis? The Democrat Party, the media. And now Nancy Pelosi says we gotta tone down the rhetoric. Really? Remember the last time Donald Trump was almost assassinated? What did they say? We gotta tone down the rhetoric. A matter of fact, Spooker Pelosi, well, it's almost Halloween. Let's call her former spooker of the House. There she is, Pelosi. And what is she doing? She said, let's tone down the rhetoric then. And within 12 hours of doing that, she was already back in the game. Now, I'm going to tell you something, folks, and you mark my words, this is how it's going to go down. This is how it's going to go down, folks. Mark my words. Democrat Party is in a complete disarray right now. Complete. Now, I thought the subway killing, oh, by the way, that was a knife, not a gun. Knife control, anybody? Anybody want to say knife control? Anybody here knife control anywhere? No, of course not. I thought that alone would have been the poster child of ending the Democrat Party's hopeful chances of winning the midterms. And believe me, that alone could do it. But then Charlie Kirk came along. And Charlie now working for us in heaven. And the Democrat Party has a zero chance of winning the midterms. I just want to let you know, and you mark my words, the violence hasn't stopped, folks. I've always said to you, in a point of defense, you have a right to defend yourself. Anytime somebody puts your life at risk and you have no options, you have a right to defend yourself. We don't premeditate going after them. Let them come after us. Let them throw the first punch with any hopes of God we're not killed by the first punch. But let them throw it. And then we have a right to defend ourselves. Democrat Party has no choice left, none, zero, but to do the following: violence. Now, here's another thing, folks. Here's another prediction I have. Remember I said this way back when, in the Wayback Machine, when I had said they're going to take Donald Trump's Twitter account away. They're going to silence him. No, they can't silence a president. They can't until they did. Until they did, folks. Remember that? And then they started silencing us and started suspending our accounts. But here's what's going to happen, folks. They're going to get very violent. And the Democrat Party will do the following. Prepare. Remember when January 6th happened? That wasn't a Republican thing. That was the Democrat Party embedding themselves into a peaceful crowd to start a riot. 5 cops were not killed. None. Only one person was killed. Ashley Babbitt. Without a gun in her hand. A veteran Air Force. But prepare yourself for... It's almost like the terrorists. They fight the enemy from a hospital or from a school. But what they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, look, somebody bombed Democrat headquarters. Oh, look, somebody did this. And so it's got to be a right wing. Expect that, folks. But the Democrat Party has to realize one thing only. There's cameras everywhere. Their cameras are everywhere. I know for a fact, and I shouldn't say, but I know for a fact, that the FBI in our country has satellite capability. And I've seen the example, not on social media. I've seen it in person, and I'm not going to say where, that you could hold a quarter in your hand and it could read the date on the quarter from up there. Don't you think for 1 second, folks, that they're onto you, Democrats. But I expect you to play self-inflicted wound and say, look, the Republicans did this. Well, I know. I was a Tea Party member. Still probably am. They're not active like they used to. And unfortunately, some of the Tea Party leaders ended up becoming corrupt. Yeah, they were forging the golden cow. But let me tell you something. When we had our rallies and we left the place cleaner than when we arrived, we had garbage bags with us to pick up debris. We left the place as clean as if not cleaner. The Democrat Party set up bridge tables with people with Nazi mustaches on and Linda LaRouche group. And they were handing out pamphlets to make it look like and they were even in our crowd. And we had to have signs with arrows saying, these are liberals. This is a liberal. As we stood next to them, they didn't even know it. But we held it because we knew who they were in the crowd. And they tried to get us to look like Nazis. Because they are, not we. They're invoking Nazi. Why? Maybe you are. Maybe you are, but I'm not. And you shouldn't point the finger at me. But we're not going to use that. But I'll tell you, my grandmother always used to say, before you cast your finger outward, and she said it in Italian, make sure you point it inward first. Prepare yourself for the next level. The Democrats are done. They know they're done. Their hopes for winning the midterms have ended now. It's gone. Trust me. It's gone. They know it. We know it. What can they do but to provoke us to fight back with violence? What can they do but to do like the brown shirts did in Germany? To frighten people from speaking, to frighten people from going out to vote. And that's how Hitler got elected. By frightening you. No, people, if you're canceling your public event, you are nothing but a chicken-ass pussy. I'm going to tell you right now. Get out there, do your public events, make sure you have your security, keep it tight, don't make a straight, get out there, don't run away from this, folks. We cannot allow this to happen. Right, Lenny? Right, Priscilla? I knew last night at a private phone call in my car outside of a comedy open mic that today there was going to be news. I knew last night at 9:45, exact time of the call. I even have it on my phone. I can't show you. I'm using my phone. I have it. But then if I showed you on my phone, then you would know my contact. I knew it at 9:45 last night. That's right, I did. On everything that's holy, I'm being honest with you, folks. I talked to my cousin. I said, you'll see in the morning. He was skeptical, and I understand. He has a right to be skeptical. I'm not knocking him for being skeptical, or anybody being skeptical, because, we've lived 4 years of not getting anywhere in a hurry. But I said, nope, you'll see I'm right. You'll see I'm right. And, then I had to get back in and do my show. What happened this morning? Exactly what I said. And he could be my witness. I was on the call with him. He made a call to me just after I got off the phone with my source. And I knew right away. I didn't post it. I just said to my cousin, you'll see. As a matter of fact, all I said to my cousin was, you'll have a name in the morning. I knew you'll have the person in the morning and a name. I said, you'll have a name in the morning. That's all I said to my cousin. And sure enough, he had a name and he had a person. And Donald Trump was on Fox News this morning. That was planned. Perfect timing. And I knew they were gnawing at the bit to pull away from him and get on the story. But they left that cryon at the bottom of the screen saying shooter has been apprehended. They didn't move that. It was right there because they were first with the news. And Trump released it. And that, what's that, Tony? Look, man, we've been tolerant long enough. These people understand there's violence. So the old saying goes to fight fire with fire. Look, buddy, I understand your anger. It's almost like getting a cancer diagnosis. You go through anger, sorrow, hate, regret. You have to, the only way we fight fire with regards to violence, Tony, is if we have to defend ourselves in the moment. In the moment. Once you go out there and you start shooting people, then the story becomes against us. We're winning right now. Do you hear me, Tony? We're winning right now. I can guarantee you with everything I own, the midterms are finished for the Democrat Party. They're done, over, finished. Once we fire a shot and go after people and the way they come after us, folks, that's the story. Why? Do you think the media is going to show us defending us? Do you think the media is going to be honest? Look, the media lied when they said that Charlie Kirk wanted to burn up all trans people or whatever. He didn't say that. He was responding to a question to him, and he was responding by the opposite of what that person was saying. And they twisted it, and they turned hate where hate wasn't there. And you people who love to throw this guy under the bus, folks, right? You like to throw this guy under the bus, you on the left. You don't do your homework. Why? Because you really never did your homework in school. That's why you're a friggin' failure, right? That's why you failed in life. That's why you've got a bad past, baby. A bad past. I could show you your freaking past. And it seems like you keep stumbling and tripping all the way up the path of progress. You keep falling down. You still haven't learned to do your homework. But you see, people are lazy. My dear friends, we have to, I understand your anger. But believe me, I beg of you, fighting fire with fire in a premeditated fashion is wrong. We cannot do that. I get it. I understand it. We're winning. Let's not drop the baton. We're winning in this relay race where Charlie just passed the baton to us. We got the Olympic torch, so to speak. We got the baton. Don't drop it. That's not what Charlie wanted. That's not what Trump wants. That's not what we need to do. We need now take that torch in the same way he did. Show people how we can have discourse without hate or anger at the end. That we will pray for those people who disagree with us. Because nothing pisses off a liberal more than forgiveness or prayer. Nothing pisses off a liberal more than that. It's like kryptonite to them. Don't fall prey of their hate. Don't. And if you are somebody in show business, I don't care what level of show business you are in, whether you're an actor in the movie or a comic, whatever you are, grow a set of friggin' mature balls. Or ovaries, if you will. Stop your hate. Stop coming out and saying he was hateful and this and that. The guy's not even in the freaking ground yet. I get so angry with your hate and disappointed in you. And let me tell you, folks, if you can't write a joke away from this kind of politics, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. Get out now. Get out. Find a new business. Maybe join a hate group where you belong and throw some bricks through some windows and stop traffic on the highway and burn down buildings and maybe kill somebody and drag them in the street like you've been doing. Maybe that's where you belong. But don't fake being a nice person and try to blend in with us normal people who don't take violence and use that. We want to defend against it. It's going to be some trying times, folks. We're in the winning game. We're in the winning team. We won now. And we hate to win this way. We won with the subway killing. Let me tell you something. Maybe not as strong as we're winning with this, but we won in the subway killing. We won mega time now. There is nothing short of the hand of God or you making a stupid move that will stop us from victory speeches from coast to coast. You get out there as a campaign manager of 8 successful campaigns that led his candidates all the way to a victory speech. Listen to me. Get out there, find the right Republican. The question you ask, are you a MAGA Republican? No, I'm not. Wrong Republican. Did you support Donald Trump? No, I don't. Wrong Republican. Are you pro-life? Or, I don't know. Well, wrong Republican. Are you free speech or pro-NRA? I don't know. Wrong Republican. Get yourself a candidate, run an event for them, get people in there, get people in poll checking, just get people to sign their candidacy paper when it's due, get out there. It's so important, folks. The Democrats obviously want us dead, but we're not going to respond in kind. We're going to respond by going to that voting booth. And the only way you can do it, folks, is don't fear the hand of the devil. Don't fear the devil. Get to church and pray. Pray for Charlie. Pray for this country. Go to synagogue. Pray for this country. Whatever religion, pray for this country. You help that candidate and you bring a victory speech. You get poll checkers. You get volunteers. This is more important of election than Donald Trump. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is more of an important election than Donald Trump. I'm telling you, this is more of an important election than Donald Trump. You put them in power, and you will put the wrench in the gears of success and freedom of speech and the right to own guns and the right for everything. You will end it. And you have the right to have women be women and their identity not being taken away from them. Birthing person. No, you're a mother. And put boys and girls sports. Open borders. Is that really what you want? If you do, you're not an American. Burn your flag. Throw away your religious artifacts in your house. You gave up all of that. You have succumbed to the devil, the demon. Listen to what I say, folks. Remember, folks, we cannot be like the Democrats. And I can't say it enough. And I wrote it down. And Proverbs. I read Proverbs and Confucius every day. Believe it or not, I like Confucius. He had, when seeking a mission of revenge, right? Bring 2 shovels, right? Confucius. Proverbs. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Hear me out, folks. I'm not on any watch lists of the FBI or the government. You never heard me say go out and hurt people. You never heard that from me. You heard me say a voting booth is our weapon of choice. You heard me say I will help even the person who thinks differently than me. You heard me say it. And I'm begging you people, I know it's going to take some healing and it's going to take some time. And I don't hate you for saying we got to fight fire with fire. I don't hate you for that. I understand it. I felt the same way. But you have to think of what the Utah governor said today. I think he put it really distinctly. I think the man has a future, though. Oh, my God, does he have a future? He was angry. But then he thought about what Charlie said. And we have to take Charlie. If we don't take the torch of Charlie and move forward, then we have desecrated on his grave already. We have desecrated on his grave. And we almost had to bury Trump twice. Think about that, folks. I told you I've turned a new leaf with my rants. I told you I wasn't going to swear anymore. I think it takes away from my message. Nobody told me not to. I did a self-evaluation, and one day I said a bad word, was beyond the F word. And I said, you know what? That's really not me. That's not me. And so I have come to the realization, folks, I want your children to listen to my rants. I want them to. I want you young people to listen to my rants. And I promise you, and I kept to my promise, there will be, no matter how bad or how tempted I am, I will not swear anymore. My good friend Kevin came to my show last night. Sorry, Kevin, I had to leave you twice. I sat with you for a little time. I wanted to talk to you, Kevin, but I got two important phone calls. And one, like I said during this rant, was my source who told me they got him. And I knew that at 9:45 or was 10 o'clock, something like that last night. I knew they were on the trail and they got him. And I had a call from my cousin who was very skeptical, and I told him in the morning, you're going to see I'm right. No, I don't think so. And we were bumping heads, and I understand his skepticism. And he woke up to find out one thing. I was right. My cousin one day asked me to find somebody close to him. I'm not going to get into details because he knew that if anybody was going to find him, it's me. I think I found that person in 12 hours. Oh, yeah, I did. Never reveal my sources. But I'm connected, folks, and I'm connected because I worked for the government in the VA. I got trained in the dental business, and I had a lot of connections up the stream. I did a lot of things, and still do. But folks, one of the things you need to know, we are better than them. Right, folks? We are better than them. And I come, yesterday was a very sorrowful day for me, but I'm beyond the tears. I might cry when I see the funeral, but I'm beyond the tears right now. I'm beyond them. I'm now on a mission. And that mission is to assure that we win the midterms. New York is going to fail, and they're going to elect Mamdani. And the Democrat Party is going to revel in their victory and say, we're going to win the midterms. When Mamdani wins that election, you will then know exactly what the Democrat Party is all about. The Democrat Party is not socialist. They're communists. Look at Bernie Sanders. Look at AOC. Look at their party, what it's turned to. Look at the stars in their party. They're communists. They feel it. Remember when there was a time where you can't say socialism because that was a bad thing? But now they say it. They openly say, well, I'm a socialist Democrat. They openly say it because they broke that glass ceiling, you see. But now they're not saying the real word. They're communists. They want to control you. They want to control me. They want to make climate change a hoax, this hoax. And they want to control what you cook on, what you drive, how you speak, where you go, and how you live, and what you eat. Remember, folks, communism is here. The sleeper cells are here. They're called Democrats. And how do we respond? Vote them out. Volunteer for your candidates. Do what you got to do. It's important, folks. We need a lot of victories. We need a lot of victory speeches, and we'll get them. Folks, again, thank you so much. This week has been my week off, and there's no sponsors or anything for my rants. It's just me speaking from the heart. And I got a very, 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 very busy night tonight. So I will not be here. As a matter of fact, I've got to book out of here very shortly. I want you to know, folks, that we have to fight with voting and supporting our candidates and take Charlie's mission. That's now we're all Charlie Kirk. Remember when we had flags for 9/11? We couldn't buy a flag everywhere. Maybe we need to buy a new pin called Turning Point with an American flag, maybe MAGA right next to it. Turning Point. You know what that means right now? This country has a new turning point. We will finally end the Democrat Party. We will finally end the Democrat Party, folks. It'll be gone. And we'll put this in the history books. And Charlie from heaven with God will extend his hands on us. And let's not let him down. Let's take his words, his fight, his mission, his courage. Let's do it for him, his family, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and all the Republicans who want this country to be free. Let's do it. Love you all, folks. Stay sane, stay safe, stay nonviolent.